Say goodbye to Chuck Sherman the boy. I am now a man. I highly recommend you join the club. We are doing the wild thing all night.
Acid house music.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sherm.
Sherman, I could all this food. Is that all you gonna eat?
General Sherman realized and understood the importance of
House music.
So, do you know anything about techno?
No.
Listen.
Yo, what's good, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm, of course, your host, Sherm, and today is Wednesday, October 27th, 2021, and this is episode 183, and I am so excited to share this one with y'all. Episode 183 features one of the most talented and charismatic people in the game, Monoky. I caught up with John over Zoom in his new Miami home, and we had such a blast chatting. In 183, we got it all in, and we started by talking about how he became Monoky. Born and raised in Toledo, Ohio, Monoky has always had music as a major part of his life. He fell in love with house music and DJing during his time in Chicago in the early 2000s and knew that he wanted to pursue this passion full time. He has been cutting his teeth as a DJ producer in the scene for a hot minute and now finds himself as a resident at the world-renowned Club Space in Miami. Yes, he is crushing it. Now, of course, we talked about the Monoky discography. It was so much fun running through Monoky's impressive discography and getting the scoop on how some of his most prolific tracks came together. I especially love talking about Virunga with Simon Kidzoo via NONSTOP, his collaborations with itsbilly like Stay Filthy via Repopulate Mars, and the Realness via Relief Records, and of course, Lyin with Malone via Club Sweat. Not to mention his incredible catalog on his label Basica, which is now accepting demos, everyone. Throughout the interview, we also talked about how Monoky has always been finding his stride and keeping a good pace. He's easily one of the most humble people I've met in the industry, and he's the first person to tell you this has not happened overnight. We shared stories of success and failure and how it's been a long but fulfilling journey for him. He's actually been sober for almost 10 years, although he does like to crush Heineken Zero, and he always makes sure he's surrounded by like-minded, motivated, and most of all, joyful people. Now, after years of hard work, he's finally achieving goals he's originally set out for on day one. He's got an incredibly inspiring story. Monoky is well known in the house music community for so many reasons. He's an incredible DJ who can play 20-hour solo extended sets and can warm up or close the room for acts like the Martinez Brothers, Eric Prydz, or Hotson's 82. He's also a super dope producer who is not afraid to go outside his comfort zone and consistently raises the bar. Now, enough of me talking, we're going to get right in this interview because we immediately started a conversation. This is episode 183 with Monoky. That painting is actually, I've been kind of getting caught up in it. I just realized, first I didn't know what the fuck it was, but it's a balloon, isn't it?
It's a balloon dog, and it says party animal.
Yes. Is that your spirit animal? And you got pink on too right now.
Yeah, exactly. Pink is punk. I painted that. Wow, I painted that probably 15 years ago, and it was in my parents' garage, and they still had my turntables, and I was like, yo, I want those turntables like that I got in literally like, I think I got them in 2002. I was like, I would love to have those in my old vinyl. Like I have some old vinyl here.
Wow.
Like breaks and like DJ Premier, like hip hop beats. And like, I learned to DJ on, I originally was like spinning like trance, and like then I'd take vocals from like old comedy records and like scratch over trance.
Who are you, Frankie Knuckles, dude?
Jesus. I watched the movie Scratch, and I was like,
yes.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, that's what I want to do. And I was like, in that movie, they go on, they talk about like, you know, how they figured out that if they stop the record. And so like I would sit and watch YouTube tutorials on like how to scratch and stuff like that. And then like obviously beat matching came with that, and like I beat match trance and stuff. And I was like, all right, I gotta upgrade because like I just have so much like new music and stuff like that. And I ended up I would take my computer, I'd put virtual DJ on my computer. I had put like thousands and thousands of songs, and I literally had like every kind of converter in my backpack to like aux cord into like anybody's like home system.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So we'd go and we'd like roll into random parties, and I'd be like, yo, I'm just gonna DJ. And it'd be like me laying on the ground with virtual DJ. And like, I mean, it had everything. Like you had like highs, mids, and lows. Like you could manually do it. I didn't have like any hardware or anything. It was all just like drag and drop. And like we used to do parties at my house in West Hollywood, and like we would start on Thursday and end on like Monday morning. And like I would literally DJ the whole time.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's probably one of the reasons why I quit partying.
Physically, you can't keep that up, right?
Yeah. No, this is like
extended sets.
Yeah, this is probably like 2010 or so, like that. But yeah, the extended sets I can still do because it's like, all right, I got that. You know,
this is easier now. I'm not fucked up.
Yeah. Somebody was like, "What's your longest set?" Because I played on that. I put on the Desert Hearts Twitch at the beginning of isolation. I did like a 25-hour set. Somebody was like, "What's your longest set?" I was like, I think I did like a 67-hour long set, but it was like performance enhanced drugs.
How many times did you go to the bathroom, bro?
Yeah, exactly. Probably none.
Yeah, none.
Probably zero, just in the zone the whole time. Now that's totally different because I just slam club soda at all my sets, and it's like I gotta like my last set at Space. I went to the bathroom like maybe 5 times in my set, and I was like, "Yo, I gotta chill on the club soda like during my set."
That's funny. I'm glad I'm not the only one. That's the beauty of going back to back with someone. Like if I have to do an extended set, I'm like, dude, I gotta go in dehydrated because I cannot leave with no one behind the decks.
Yeah. That was I just played in Orlando last week, 2 weeks ago. And it took me like 3.5 hours to drive up. I drank like 8 like liters, like the big bottles of club soda. And it took me like 5.5 hours to drive home because I stopped so many times. Yeah. But the fun thing about that is I just went straight to Space because like Space is just open at all times. Like I did the same thing last weekend, like went to Nick Fanciulli at 5 a.m. and stayed till 10. Like, it's such a weird thing to have like a club just open 24 hours for the most part,
And it's always something going on.
Always something going on, always somebody big. I played there. They have me there pretty much weekly now. So like I play this Thursday there with I'm opening for Prids.
And Christoph, I saw.
Yeah, and Christoph. And then
you've opened for him before, but I mean
I closed for Prids the last time. That was
close for him.
Yeah.
God, how was that crowd? Were they fucking feeling it still?
Bananas, dude. And they had like all like the digital mapping too, but just on like the DJ booth. Like they brought the extra lasers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it looked super dope and stuff. But I mean, being like a resident, semi-resident Space is just crazy because it's like every week it's somebody massive, and now they're doing all this extra stuff with like they have 3 Points Festival, which is one of the owners, like Babies, this guy David Sinopoli. It's his like that he nurtured from like literally like a parking lot party during Art Basel into it is now like massive. Like
damn.
Yeah, there's like 7 stages, I think, and it's like like I'm playing a huge structure on Friday. So I play Thursday with Prids, and then I have a 3-hour festival. That's the other thing. 3-hour festival set like doesn't happen,
Yeah, that's awesome.
I play house and techno. Like I want to play 3 hours, I don't get into a set until like an hour,
Totally.
It's like an hour long set. I mean, it's cool at some of these like bigger festivals because you can just go and bang out your, 10, 12, 15 bangers, but like a 3 hour set. So you can like kind of take a little journey with people and like the crowd, you can feel them out, you can feel their energy, you can play with their energy. Like that's the fun stuff,
Yeah, I see that.
That's the fun stuff about space too. Like, I mean, sets are 5 hours long, like, yeah, like when does a resident get a 5 hour set every week? It's like
nowhere else.
Yeah, but literally nowhere. I can't. Maybe in like Ibiza in Germany, but maybe like Hive in Germany and stuff.
In Chicago, bro.
No, it's 1, 2 hour, 2 hours.
Sharing that lineup for sure.
Yeah. So there's definitely a benefit there because, like, I mean, GA at Space is at, like, let's say the club opens at 11, by 11:20 GA is packed and will stay packed until 11 a.m. or until they throw them out, like it's great. That dance floor energy that's right in front of you is like there, it's packed, it's ready to go. There's some side tables and then there's the loft, and like when all of it's going, it's easily the best club in the US, maybe the world, like, like indoor club, like it's up there in the world, but it's got to be, top 1 or 2 in the US, easy. Like
they know what they're fucking doing.
Yeah, and to be honest, it all stems from those guys at the top.
Mm-hmm.
The Link Miami Rebels. It's this guy is Davide, Coloma, David Sinopoli, Lucas Awesome. They just like they took they took the idea of like having culture and putting it into the club, and like they took elements of Burning Man and like welcomeness and like they brought in like foodie aspects, like the food there is great, and like it's just like welcoming and the energy is amazing, and it's just kind of all kind of feeds down from the top and from those guys and just makes the experience, like, for me, no other, and I was a resident at Sound in LA for 5 years, and I've played a lot of the biggest clubs in the world. I've and like just kind of like it's tough to match that culture and the energy and like the lovingness that they have. And then on top of that, you add in the fact that they're open, from 11 p.m. till noon at least, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then they have these festivals too. I mean, this 3 Points Festival is on Friday, and it's like, it's massive, and it's got all different types of musical acts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like, it's just a good place to be. Like, I'm glad I kind of made the move over like the isolation and pandemic and stuff like that. Like, I was going to pull the trigger to come to the East Coast, and it just, that whole thing made it way easier,
Yeah.
Just to hop up and come. And like, I didn't know that I would be playing with them every week. I kind of had to like earn those spots. They started me out a little slow. Like I played a live stream, then I played a back-to-back, all while it was still like in pods, while they still had it in like pod form, where you could be at your table, but you couldn't be walking around.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they're like, all right, you're opening for Boris Brejcha GA dance floor, like everything. And I was like, let's fucking go. Like, I'm so ready for this,
Wow.
One, there's nothing on my USB that I could play that's harder than what Boris Brejcha is gonna play. So I was like, yo, I can play so much good like melodic techno that I have. Like, I can play techno, and like I played some breaks and like just some weird, like some shit I really wanted to get into. And it was just wild. It was wild because it was like, I think it was a Sunday. Yeah, it was a Sunday. So, excuse me. I think I played like 5 to 10 or something like that on a Sunday. And by like 5:15, it was packed, yeah. So like 5:15, it was packed, and like techno in the afternoon at Space with like
thumbs up.
the first like GA crowd and like opening for Boris Brejcha, and it was like, all right, like this is bonkers, Like, it was one of those like where I'm kind of in my own head going, yeah, you did it.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, something you did paid off, that
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So
hard work.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I don't know if we talked about this earlier on this song, but it was like for a long time. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, and for a long time, it's like I don't have an agent, I don't have a manager. I'm just guessing for the most part about like what I'm supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
There's not really like a tried and true path, like all of like lockdown, I was releasing music, I was putting stuff out, and I figured like during lockdown, the one thing that I had going for me was that it leveled the playing field, because I wasn't competing. I was literally only competing with myself and like what I could get out there, and like I wasn't gonna get out toured, and I wasn't gonna get
out clouded, right? Everybody was on the bench. Connections didn't matter anymore.
That was it. Like, and I couldn't, if I put out tracks, like they weren't going to get lost in the shuffle because people were playing other tracks because nobody was playing new tracks. So just kind of like, it was like what you put out there. Then actually, it did help because Porky from Desert Hearts got me streaming a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
I was streaming with Desert Hearts maybe 3 or 4 times, and I did some marathons with them. I did a 22-hour one, and then I did a 25-hour one with them. And Blondish saw me do the 25-hour one, and they as soon as I moved to Miami, Blondish was like, "Do you want to be on Abracadabra and her stuff?" And they had like full support from Twitch for months. Like we were the number 2 music channel in the world on Twitch. It was Insomniac, then us.
Abracadabra, right?
Abracadabra.
Unbelievable. I did not know that.
Yeah, so I was doing Friday nights, and I was doing marathons on Friday nights. I was like, there was nothing else to do. Like I wasn't playing clubs. Everything was closed. I was sitting at home with my animals and like just chilling. And I was like, having fun with it. I was literally in a row, like week after week after week, I'd play like 18, 20, 18, 15, 20, 15, 18 hours, just go until like I couldn't stand up anymore. And we were getting I was getting between like 15 and 30,000 viewers in a night, because it was like, they were putting us on like the main search page, like the number one search page. Yeah. So like as soon as you hit that, it was like automatically like 10, 15,000 people. And then like more people would come in and get in there. And it was
Biggest
like
crowd you've ever played for, right?
I mean, 38,000 over
Yeah.
yeah. And it really, that actually like really generated a ton of organic followers that have continued to follow me and like continue. Like I just played Life is Beautiful festival in Vegas, and I was the opening set, and it was literally like doors open.
Dude, that's
and the people came
so crowded.
And like the first, I would say, 50 out of the 75 people that first showed up to the tent were like, abracadabra, we watched you stream, like that kind of stuff. And like now every show I play, somebody comes up to me and was like, yeah, we watched you stream all of isolation and COVID.
That's heartwarming, man. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's like, I'm like, great. Like, because weirdly, like I even met, we did a party here in Miami during Bitcoin conference week.
Holy shit.
And yeah, and it was
spending money.
Yeah, we had like we invited a bunch of the the loyal members and mods and stuff like that to come in, and it was like very interesting to meet these people because like I had spent a lot of time with them, because I'm chatting and like
right.
So it's been good. Like those people, they're also like power users on the internet. So they like follow, like I'd wake up and have like 150 new followers on Instagram, and they would all be like, that was awesome last night, like commenting and liking stuff and things like that. And it just kind of like helped like generate a buzz during lockdown that like, that wouldn't have happened had I not joined the Abracadabra team and stuff like that.
Man. Do you feel like during the pandemic, like there was more collaboration in the music industry across labels, across artists than there ever were before? That was my personal experience.
So there was a weird thing that happened. Like 50% of the more of the people just stopped working.
Yeah.
Like just stopped producing because they couldn't find inspiration, that kind of thing. Like it just like wasn't hitting them, or like they were in a weird place or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I saw like 25% to 40% were just like working super hard, and like people messaging me and asking me to collab and put out stuff. And and I think part of the reason of that is that when you're producing, when you're making music, and I'm sitting at home and making tracks, like generally this music just like kind of exists in my head, like I can kind of gauge whether it's a good track or not, but like, you need another set of ears at some point to check something out. Like,
you go crazy.
Because like that's why also my streaming was nice too, because I'd play tracks like to the crowd that like I had just finished.
Right.
And you could kind of gauge by like the comments and stuff like that. I put out a lot of those tracks, but it was like for the collab stuff, it would be nice. Like some of them you'd be like, I think this track is done, but I'm not like 100% sure, like,
right.
It'd be nice to have another set of ears, or like, if you want to mess with it, like go ahead and make some tunes with it, like change it up. Like,
right.
If you like pieces of it and stuff like that. But for me, I ran into this thing where for the first, like, for a long time, I was collabing like right off the bat when I was producing like 5 years ago when I started, 5 or 6 years ago.
2018.
I started producing way before that, back on like Fruity Loops and SoundForge and stuff like that, but I didn't really get into like making full track. I was doing like mashups and stuff like that.
Sure, got to start somewhere. So you were
Yeah.
DJing before producing, though, then?
Yeah, I was DJing for, a long time before actually like full out like, okay, I need to make some tracks to like get
Right.
to the next level. Cause
Right.
like
Totally.
I can DJ as much as possible, but there's no way I'm breaking through with like even 1 or 2 tracks, like
Really hard
you
to
need
do.
to make a lot of tracks,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been trying to not collab as much because like I need to kind of work on my like solo portfolio kind of thing. But I still like I still enjoy like I have some collabs coming out. I did one with Shusky, who's out of San Diego, that comes out in like 2 weeks.
Nice.
I have one on Elro coming out. Actually, that one, the one with Shusky is coming out on Materialism, which is a really dope label.
Yeah.
That's Mahalis Safras's label. And then Rybo from Percomaniacs and Desert Hearts, he and I have a collab coming out on Elro in like 2 weeks too. I hope those don't come out on the same day. Now that I think about
That's
it.
sick, though. I mean,
yeah.
you've had consistent collabs. I mean, itsbilly and Malone are people that you've produced with a lot.
Yeah. So I'm actually for that 3 Points Festival, Malone and I are playing back to back for 3 hours. So that should be fun. Yeah, he's blowing up too. He's playing everywhere, and he's an awesome producer. We had some we had some good vibers going that did really well. Lyin did really well.
Yeah.
You Beside Me did really well for Club Sweat. And then itsbilly and I. So itsbilly is my boy Billy Flanagan. I knew like a lot of what I was doing, but he's like, he went to school, he went to Icon.
Okay.
He knows everything. So like,
yeah,
we'd come up with ideas, and he could just, any sort of idea that we had, he could express it and put it down like immediately. Whereas even today, like I'm like, I'd really like a stab here that sounds like this, and then I'm like checking every preset, like literally down arrow on Audio Lab, and like
how most producers do it, right?
Yeah, but like every single one, like, and I'm not like smart enough to like heart the ones that like I think could work on other projects and stuff like that. Yeah. So it literally starts at like the OSC strings every time or whatever is at the top of
but you know what? Maybe you'll hear something that you didn't hear before, right? Like
that's the thing. Is every one of those every one of those is like sounds different, and like every octave sounds different, and it's right. Like where you draw it in and stuff like that. It's like so like half of them you'll be like, you'll put it an octave lower and you can't even hear it, and it's like, oh shit, like I gotta go through 30 like 300 preset, or like 300 different sounds, and like 150 of them aren't even sounds because they're an octave lower than yeah.
Production life, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because like people will be like, yo, I want to come and like watch you produce, and I was
not like that.
I was like, God, that sounds so fucking painful. For both of us. Like, literally for both of us. Because, like, it's like, you know,
start talking. No,
it's like
nothing gets done. I know exactly.
No, yeah, and it's like just like, and it's like the tiniest difference in noises and stuff, and it's like, and then to have to like try to explain why I'm doing like a certain thing and stuff. This is people that are just like, I want to learn from watching you. I'm like, dude, just get YouTube, just watch YouTube tutorials. I'm like, half the stuff I'm making up, like on the fly. Yeah, half the stuff I'm getting lucky. Half the stuff I it just works, and I'm like, all right, well, that sounds dope. I'm gonna like not touch that anymore.
But that's the kind of the cool part about being a DJ before a producer. I am as well, and it kind of helped me understand, like, once I started DJing different types of music, like you were talking about how you cut your teeth just DJing all different types of events, and now you've kind of fallen into this like really unique type of production, probably because you've weeded out what is really good and what you love to play, right? Like, if it's good or if it's bad pretty much instantaneously.
Like if I'm downloading music, I can tell within 3 seconds if it's a good track or a shitty track, like that I'll play or not, like immediately, like, which helps me when I'm organizing music for shows and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it also helps in the production wise too, because it's you can kind of get a feel for what works and like what would make the people move and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But also arrangement and progression kind of come natural then, like you can, I 100% I'm like a music file, like an audio file. Like I'm, let's say I'm the closing set at Space at 7 a.m. I'm there at 2 a.m. watching the opener. Okay. I'm watching the headliner. I'm Shazamming. I'm doing my homework.
Wow.
Like I'm there early and I'm leaving late. And it's like
to learn.
Like, and I'm there. I'm talking to people. I'm networking. It's like that's fun. Having fun. That's part of the whole job.
Right.
Yeah, but the after DJing for so long, I think like arrangement for sure is like, because you're like, okay, in this part of the track, you want like an extra shaker to come in, or you want some hats to come in here, or like
this break is too long. I need a like a high cut kick to start coming in, right?
Yeah, right. Like you'll lose the energy of the crowd if you have a 2-minute break without any sort of beat at all.
There's only
like
one Eric Prydz. Yeah, no, don't.
Yeah. Or Pat. Yeah.
Oh Jesus, those fucking buildups.
Yeah. Those. Somebody the other day was like, it's weird. There'd be like 2 minutes where they just stop the music, and I was like, no. Those are like breakdowns.
Oh my God, that's legendary.
Yeah, like no, those are just like 2-minute long breakdowns. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, the breakdowns are longer than the drops themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just one drop. It's like a drop, and then it goes right back into another breakdown. Like
they're an acquired taste for sure.
32 later. I mean, they're crushing, but
they're amazing. I love them, but I wouldn't introduce someone new to the scene to Art Bat. I'd be like, let's start with MK. Why don't you go see MK and then we'll start talking, right?
Yeah, right. Oh man.
So John, you've like you said, you've released on some huge labels over the years, man. But it didn't really come to you right away. I mean, you told me you grew up in Toledo, Ohio. You then went to Northwestern. I mean, you're now crushing it in Miami. Is that you called yourself basically, I'd say, with the go-to guy for a lot of big acts that come through.
Yeah.
Long passage of time there. I mean, when did actually like electronic music come into your life then originally?
Oh God, now you're gonna date me, dude.
I'm unlocking some memories.
I'm old, dude. I'm old. I got into like electronic and house and stuff like that in like, 99, 2000.
Okay.
Like, literally from that movie Scratch that I mentioned earlier. So they talked about it, and they in the show, somebody, they talk about Deltron or somebody like that. So I went and picked up some Del the Funky Homo Sapien Deltron records, and I used to have that Deltron 3030 on repeat, and like in the background was like Dan the Automator and like Kid Koala and some of these guys, like these old turntablists, like spinning and scratching and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, that's what I want. And like,
it's a Midwest guy.
Yeah. But it's weird because it's like there's that kind of like hip hop, like that lyrical hip hop with those like DJ Premier beats, like an MF Doom and like,
there you go.
Yeah, and like and Deltron and Dr. Octagon and Jurassic 5 and stuff like that. Like those are not that far off from like electronic music. It's weirdly close to it. And it just kind of like melted into, oh, I play like electro now and trance, and like I was playing on records and mixing with records, and then I told you before you started, I found like a bunch of files and stuff like that. I found like a full index of like a bunch, like 15,000 tracks that were all house music, like old school house music, like Olivier Giacomotto, Oliver Huntman, Dubfire, like early Claude Von Stroke, like out of Detroit, like Carl Craig, all these people. And like, that was my jam. Like I used to play hours and hours and hours without a single vocal, you know, like that was like,
You must have been the only kid doing that, right? I mean, did you have any friends that were listening to it with you?
No, that was like all my boys liked progressive,
like
super progressive, like Hernan Cattaneo and stuff like that. Cornell Kovacs and like all that stuff was like big in like my little friend group. But that's like Chicago at Northwestern and stuff, like Chicago had a decent underground scene. I mean, like
for sure, man.
Frankie Knuckles was still playing. Like they used to do this thing in Grant Park where every Tuesday they'd have like I don't know, like Derek Carter and like Psycho Bitch and Terry Bristol and like all these people, like
that's amazing.
And Crowbar was dope, and Spy Bar was dope, and Smart Bar. Green Velvet used to play at Smart Bar literally like every Thursday night for a while. Green Velvet was at Smart Bar, and you'd be like, okay, let's go see Green Velvet at Smart Bar. It's Thursday, you know, like
that's crazy.
That's
now, like for my generation, like because
could you imagine? Those were the local guys. Like Green Velvet was a local Chicago guy, and
that's awesome.
You know, like you could see him every week. And like, and it was dope, you know, like, and so we used to go to all, like, I literally just used to go to all of that, and like, and I was always music first, like always, and like DJing was like just kind of side stuff, and then production started happening like 6 years ago or so, and like now it's kind of all catching on. It's kind of all like, you know, it's, as I was saying, I'm not like necessarily spinning my wheels anymore. It's like there's some traction there,
right?
Where like if I do one good thing, then two more good things come from it, that kind of stuff. Right. Where it was in the past, where like I do one dope thing and like by the next week it would, you know, nobody knew, you know, like that kind of stuff, even on releases and things like that, you know. It's like,
for sure, it
just takes such a constant effort, like and consistency, and kind of like I mean, you got to keep up with like socials, and you got to network, and you got to support other DJs, and you know, it's like
it's a lot.
It's a lot, but like you got to do it all, or else you're gonna get nowhere. You can't just do one part of it, You know what I mean?
Yeah, you trade in your 9 to 5 for the 24/7. I hear that, and it's just it's the most true thing. It's true.
Yeah, and you gotta be creating content now. You know, it's not just all about the music. There's a lot of other aspects to it. But like for me, I at least hope like I can, for myself, like I hope I don't have to like. I mean, I everything I've made has still kind of kept like at least like a deeper underground tone to it, even like the stuff where I'm using these like popular vocals and things like that. Like I'm not dropping them into like, I guess this last one's like kind of banging tech house, but like the first track on that, my last EP, Raw, is like,
yeah.
I mean that drops into virtually tech now. Like it's a yeah.
It's sick though, dude. Like when the hi-hats are coming in, I'm like, oh shit, let's go.
And it's dope and it goes super fucking hard, but it's like, you know, it's like I didn't mean to make it that hard. It's just like, I'm just going to go and make whatever I'm feeling at that time, you know?
Bro, I mean, when I was doing my research on your Beatport, you know, I know we're talking shit about Beatport. Sorry for anybody working at Beatport or likes Beatport. When I go to, and one funny thing about Beatport as well is usually they don't actually categorize tracks correctly, you know, like the actual genre, but you had like Afro house, minimal, deep, tech house, but after running through all your tracks, you are not a one box producer, man. I mean, never have been.
And that's actually been like also part of my thing. Cause I used to go through like, I used to have like an identity crisis every 6 months of where like, oh, you got to choose a genre or nobody's going to come. People would say like, if they don't know what to expect when they come and see you, just people won't just always show up, you know, like they got to know what kind of stuff you're going to be playing. I was like, but I like it all, you know, like I spin a ton of like melodic techno at home. I spin a ton of Afro house at home, you know, like I like the drums. I like tribal, like I love like that Chus and Sabalo sound. I love the Rafa Mario sound. Like I also like I also love like the Oliver Huntman sound. I like the Eric Prydz. I like the Prida sound. I play Cerez D, you know, like you know, like
let's go.
Like that's like, I mean, I have it all. I have it all on my stick. I think my sticks have like 25,000 songs on them, and it's like
genre hop. That's definitely your thing.
And that's it took a long time before I decided that it was okay for me in no matter what situation to just be able to genre hop, because it's like there's some good ways, especially with Afro house, because you can get from tech house to Afro house to melodic tech, back to Afro house to tech house. Like, you can use the Afro house, especially like the bigger Afro stuff. Like you can use that to get in and out of techno back into tech house, just because of there's so many there's so much percussion in the Afro house. You know?
Right. One element is added or removed.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, and you learn this when you're producing, is that they're not that far away from each other at all of it.
It's true. Like
it's not like a tech house. I could take a tech house track and remove a clap, and it's a fucking techno track then. You know, like it is like just like it literally will just turn immediately into a techno track, and you're like, well, that was weird. All I did was remove the clap from it. You know? Like, yeah, and it's and so like once you start to figure that out, and you figure like how stuff can meld into the next one, it's like then you can get in there and you can like toy with some emotions. You can get some funky in there. You can get some house in there, you know.
Right.
And it's like you see it now. The big guys are doing it too. They've been doing it, but they, you know, you can see it. Like the best genre hopper out there is DJ Tennis, like by far. Like,
oh Jesus, that's
by far. Yeah, he can go from breaks to house to techno to tech house. You know, he's just to house to like a fucking jazz track. Like, who knows what he's gonna play? Yeah. And then you even see it with like Solomon and stuff. Like Solomon's playing techno, like melodic techno for 4 hours, and then all of a sudden it'll just be like 2 hours of disco, you know? I don't know where the fuck that came from, but it's dope and I'm feeling it. Yeah.
I didn't even realize until an hour after. You're like,
no, you're like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, like he just played Staying Alive, like, and it totally worked. And right after that, yeah. And then right after that played like an art back track. And you're like, okay, well, that works. Like if you can do it, if you can fit it, you know, and like if it works with the energy of the club and the vibe, like,
yeah.
And as long as people don't have this like preconceived notion that things have to like stick down this certain path, like, and people are willing to go on that journey with you and trust you.
Yeah.
Which is funny. That's why I have this beard right now, because I shave the beard and like people like have a lot less trust in the DJ when you like are clean shaven and look like a frat boy. They're like, oh, this asshole. This dude knows nothing about music. Yeah. I'm being dead serious too. Like I 100% like when I'm clean shaven and like I look like a frat boy, like people are like, what's this dude gonna play? Fucking losing it? And
you got like a Dwayne Wade Miami jersey on or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm like, all right, people, I can play whatever with the beard because people are like, yo, this dude hasn't left his house in months and only listens to music, you know?
Out, yeah.
Yeah, like, dude, this dude only listens to music. Like, that's it.
Cockroach recognize cockroach, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I like, fuck it. I'm growing the beard back out. I don't care how humid Miami is.
I'm clipping that. That's so fucking funny.
Yeah. Shit.
It's interesting you brought up kind of like the perspective as a producer. And before we kind of go into your specific label releases, when you're producing with DJing in mind, I mean, are you thinking time for an Afro house track, time for melodic techno track? Like, how does it work for you before you start and you like are totally clean slate?
No, clean. Actually, that's funny because everything is just like complete flow of consciousness. It's really? Like, yeah, I'll either start with like a kick or a bass line and just roll from there. And like, you know, it's like, I don't normally set out with like, even like a label in mind or anything like that.
Okay,
like,
yeah, I was gonna ask that too.
Yeah, like I'll start out with literally like a kick, a bass line, and then start with some percussion and stuff like that. And like if I find like that, like I find like a good like riff on like a bongo, and like I can clip it up and run some decent like chopping of it so it sounds different and stuff like that, or like even finding like gating some vocals and like they sound funky and weird, like and then that kind of transfers into, you know, like, okay, then it needs this, and like I'll start, you know, getting on my synths and stuff like that and like try some sounds out, and like if it just starts to go towards like I made an Afro house track that like has like Indian vocals in it and stuff, and like,
is it the one off NONSTOP, Virunga?
No. That one I did was Simon Kidzoo, and he found those vocals, and
That's a sick track, man.
I really meant it when I said that is a sick track, man, and I'm going to prove it right now. Let's check out Virunga by Simon Kidzoo and Monoky via NONSTOP.
That track's, yeah, which is funny. That track's actually coming back right now. It's like number 3 in the Netherlands right now.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. Like randomly, just like pop back on the chart on Apple Music. It's number 3 in the Netherlands.
You never know.
I think he's from Amsterdam, so I think like maybe somehow weirdly like he played it and it caught on or something. Yeah. So like it's getting
that.
like a second win, but that track's dope. No, it was for Nick Fanciulli's Saved Records, and like
Amazing.
it's so funny because like it came out like a year ago, and I was driving up to Fort Lauderdale or to West Palm Beach last weekend, and it came on my Spotify.
Nice.
And I was like, I have no idea what the name of this track is. I had to like look, and I had to look because I was like, I don't remember what I named this. Like, because I've been like pretty prolific over the last like 3 years, just like constantly putting stuff out. Yeah, so like to answer your question directly, it's like it's literally wherever the wind takes me, like during that production process. And like I like sometimes I'll find a sample, sometimes I'll find a synth, sometimes I'll find like a dope riff on like Riffer, like a different VST, that like will chop up like a bongo that sounds fire, and it's like, you know, and I'm like, yo, that's fire. Like I might as well let's make a rolling bass line like with that and try to do like some like circus or like stereo vibes or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's the kind of the method. And then sometimes like I'll get 3/4 down the line and be like, okay, like if I do this to this, then it would be good for Sola label. Or if I do this, like maybe Hot Tracks would want it.
Yeah.
Or if I put like some big vocals in it, maybe Club Sweat would want it. You know, that kind of stuff.
Well, let me show you a track that Club Sweat took. This one's called She Lyin by Malone and Monoky featuring Ali Story.
Yeah.
And then I
to the 100%.
Yeah, like then you start like kind of lowering it into like which big labels would want it, you know, like, which has worked out for me pretty well. Like I'm on probably 30 of the top 100 top labels or so.
Without a doubt, you are.
Yeah, and then I have, you know, even more coming out soon with I mean, Materialism's got to be in the top 30.
I mean, El Roy.
Elrose probably in the top 10. You know, it's like these are big labels, and it's like that's just persistence. You know, like that's literally just persistence and like figuring out what kind of sounds people kind of want, and then just dealing with people turning them down and learning how to send them out again, you know, like
Yeah.
because like some tracks, like some of our bigger tracks, like were turned down. Like some of my bigger tracks were turned down by 5 or 6 labels, and then the sixth one picked it up, you know, like
Yep.
and it got hundreds of thousands of plays on Spotify and top 20 on Beatport and stuff like that, you know. It's like
Lyin, the Club Sweat, is that one?
Lyin, yeah, but that one was different because we had issues with the vocals. They're folk song originally, but we had to have them re-sung.
Oh.
And then they still came after us about that we use the same cadence as the original vocals. And I went on Wikipedia, and randomly the US Library of Congress had like a recording of 2 little girls singing the track from like 1939. And it's like the same exact cadence that like Nina Simone and Feist sing it. So like it's in like, and they were like, nah, it's sorry, like this won't pass. And I literally just sent them the Library of Congress link, and they were like, okay, you're good.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so lucky.
Down.
Yeah, because like it's, you know, there's no technical, you don't get technical rights on a folk song, you know, like you don't get writer credits on a folk song. Like it was literally like something from 1935 or 1939 or something.
All right, Monoky. So you were running through some of the labels we've mentioned, NONSTOP already. We talked about Relief, Club Sweat, Tool Room. You've also released on Hot Tracks, Nervous, Happy Techno, most recently Tech Avenue. But there's one we haven't brought up, and you've released, I think, 6 tracks, 4 EPs, Basica. How do I say it correctly?
Yeah, that's my label.
That's your label?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I was like, dude, you got to have some affiliation because you released so much good music on it.
Yeah.
I had no idea you had your own label.
Yeah, so that actually that just happened this year though. So
okay,
it started out as Simone Vitullo, who's awesome. It's his label for years, and it's got everybody on it. It's got Todd Terry. It's a great label. And in the past 3 years, Simone has kind of transferred from like tech house to Afro house, and now he has the #1 Afro house label in the world in Go Diva.
What?
Yeah, and Go Diva does better than like Mo Black. It does better than Defected. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it does better. It's the #1 Afro house label in the world. And he's just not in like the tech scene anymore.
Right.
And we met up about 7 months ago, and he was like, listen, like I'd like to continue doing Basica. If you'd like to take it over and do all the A&R and just have it be your label and have it be your sound. And I was like, yeah, you know, the one thing I'd like to do is take it from so much like tech house more into like groovers and kind of deep tech and stuff like that. So like 2 months ago we switched over, and like it's been all my like kind of curating and all my stuff. Yeah. So we got some good stuff coming out. Actually, itsbilly has the next EP on there.
Yes.
We just signed one from Justin Vilhauer, who's from California.
Dude,
I think
you're a busy fucking guy, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a shit show over here, but Yeah, it's
No
like
manager, no like publicist. You got no agent. You're running your own label. I fucking love it. You are from the Midwest. It's for sure. It's for sure.
yeah, right. Drinking Heineken zeros.
You're just
you know.
shoveling snow on a cold
These
winter
people
night.
they better sponsor me.
They should.
Who else is pushing Heineken zeros? Is what I want to know.
No DJ.
No DJ is pushing Heineken zeros. It's not happening.
Come on, Heineken.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, brother. Yeah, it's amazing though.
Yeah, so Basica is mine now. I think Miss Mata, who's one of the space residents, is gonna do a release with us. We're working on some paperwork now.
Yeah,
she's legit. She doesn't have a ton of releases, and she's been making amazing music. And so I'm trying to give her that last like little push to push some stuff out. And,
Yep.
She just sent me some tracks, and I was like, "Yo, like these are good enough to be on like major record labels. But if you want to like start with Basica, I mean, we're like 123 on Beatport, you know, top 150 labels in the world. Like we're good. There's a lot of baseline there for us." And she's like, "Yeah, I'd love to do it." So we have a couple coming up that I'm psyched about to put out. Excuse me. We just put out this Tristan, Tristan Alexander, his EP, and it's dope. This Spooky Spirits and stuff.
Ooh.
Spicy Spirits. Sorry, it was called Sweet and Spicy. And it's dope. Like I play it all the time. It's very housey, like minimal housey kind of stuff. But that's funny you asked about that, because like I enjoy like having kind of an outlet to like help people that I know that are dope producers. There's so many dope producers out there.
Yeah, dude.
And it's like, send me tracks. If they're good, like we'll make an EP out of them, you know? Like,
Yeah.
That's like, if anybody's listening, your producers, like, send me tracks and stuff. You send me tracks too, you know? It's like I'd love to put together some more EPs and get this like release schedule, you know, a couple months out. The benefit of taking over right now is I'm releasing stuff like 2 months, maybe a month after signing it, you know, which is like
Unheard of. Yeah.
Unheard of. I know. Like, it's funny. I think some of these labels like that I've put stuff out on are like a year out right now. Like,
dude,
9 months away, 10 months away. I have the one that's coming out in 2 weeks, like, actually both of them. I think I have one November 5th and one November 14th, and they were 9 months, I think, before, you know, and it's like, wow, like I made those a long time ago, you know?
Yeah, I know. I feel like something always comes up is the producer that you were when you sent that to that label 9 months ago, what you're making now. Every time I ask it is, I'm making the best music I've ever made right now.
Yeah,
that's coming out. It's great, but it's not what I'm making right now, right?
Yeah. It's funny, but you know, that whole situation is weird though, because like I have heard some tracks that I made like 2 years ago recently, and I'm like, yo, this is a good track. Like, I should play this track more. I just completely forgot about it. Like, just because on my sticks, it's like I have a Monoky folder, and it's like the top, you know, it's either like unreleased at the top or like just released at the top.
Yeah.
And I never get down to like 25, 26, 27,
right.
You know, and it's like some of those are like, but there's always a weird, I still have that. There's still a weirdness when you're playing your own tracks, especially like for a first play. Like you always feel like it's like you don't really know, you know. You're like, is this working? Like, am I as good as fucking Sosa or Iglesias and like these dudes you idolize? You know, like I could just play a Jamie Jones track, which would be fucking dope, you know, but like instead I'm playing my own track. Yeah. But it is fun it's fun to play your own tracks and like see them go off. That's actually where those tracks came from that I just put out on Tech Avenue. Was I was like, yo, I'm gonna make some festival bangers because like I'm playing big festivals.
Let's check out this festival banger together. This one's called Raw by Monoky off Tech Avenue Records.
Oh, baby, I like it, boy.
And like Hardfest, like I'm gonna go hard, you know, like I'm gonna play bangers and like that. There's a video of me playing all the girls to the crowd, and like it's literally I don't even know if I hadn't played it on any system. And all of a sudden I'm playing it for like 6,000, 7,000 people. And like, I had only played it here on my like Yamahas.
Wow.
And I was like, well, let's see, you know, like, I don't know what this low end's going to sound like on like massive stacks, you know, like, and it went off and it was like, yo, that was crazy. Like, and even weirder is that like I played it, I looked at the clock because I can see the clock on the video, and my set started at 4 and I played it at like 4:15.
Yeah.
And there were already like that many people there. But like not only that, but like it means I was 2-3 tracks deep and the people went off like that, you know, like
Yeah.
I was like, yo, that was crazy. Like, I'd like to see I'd like to see that thing get played at some festivals. I hope people play some of those at EDC and send me videos.
That would be sick.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
That's what we do it for, man. For the fans.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, congratulations to you on that. That's amazing. Everybody listening, please send him tracks because it's a beautiful label out there.
Basica rec at gmail.com, BASICAREC at gmail.com. If you got some good, like I'm doing like deep tech, minimal, kind of like Archie Hamilton kind of like techie vibes, not like bangers.
Right, for sure.
Groovers over bangers. Yeah.
Groovers over bangers. Amen to that. So I got to ask you about Repopulate Mars at South of Saturn. You've had 1 release on Repopulate, 2 on South of Saturn. I just had Kaysen on the podcast recently, and had a few people who have released on Repopulate. Been Repopulate Mars shows myself. I'm from Chicago. Lee is a totem here. And they are just something that makes the scene so special to me for a fan and also when you're on the other side. Before we get about the tracks, I know you have a relationship with Lee Foss. I mean, I think you perform with him a lot. How did you guys first meet? Like, what's it been like for you? And then, of course, going to release on their label.
So I've known Lee for years, just from like kind of the Chicago connection. And then we played Groove Cruise together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we played Groove Cruise together maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And his train got delayed and we drove back together and like we kind of hang out. We used to hang out in the same like LA circles. We have a bunch of the same kind of friends in LA.
Yeah.
And that whole like there's a real tight knit like kind of scene. Lee lives out in Topanga, and like there's an artist scene there. There's a good like collective of like dope artists, and goat musicians, and like they all kind of intermingle and stuff like that. So we connected through that through like mutual friends and stuff like that. And he was one of the first people to like listen, like a lot of people, it's tough to even get your tracks to even listen to,
Yeah.
He's busy as hell too. He was kind of like the model of how to like tour and play and run a label and also run like a party, like Repopulate Mars is an awesome brand, and they did the clothing, and then he's got a great relationship with his wife, and like it's just like he's just
he's a giver, man.
He's a good dude all around, like, and you see that somebody like him can do all that, and it's like, okay, like there's a lot of time in the day to like if he can do it, like there's a lot of like you can put in that same kind of effort,
Yeah.
I mean, he's actually he's brilliant. He's a super smart guy. Like I've been up to his house a couple times where it's just like him and I hanging out, and like he's intelligent, he's well thought out, like he's prepared, he's
love that.
his production is crazy. Like he produces, he was showing me hip hop tracks he produces, like that are insane. Yeah, dude. The Leaf Off, if in the future there's not like a Leaf Off like hip hop alter ego at some point, like I don't know where my life is gone, but like he produces dope hip hop.
Damn.
Yeah, and he's always producing. He's got his studio at home is sick. He's always got people up there. Yeah. And then Repopulate Mars has just been on fire. Like, like they've just been just absolutely banging it out. Like every release is, top 10 right now, which is good to see.
Yeah, man.
And then South of Saturn, like it was nice to release on those because like everything I put out with them did really well. It's almost not even like a sub label. It's more of like its own.
It's not a sub label. It's a sister label, I'd call it.
It's like a sister. Yeah, exactly. It's like a sister label now, and like they're the Repopulate Mars is one of those labels that's their release schedule is backed up probably 9-10 months a year. That like it's nice for South of Saturn to be able to release stuff a little quicker, or at least have a lot more output from that system because they have a good ear. Nick Kaysen has, he's got a good ear and facilitates a lot of that movement between the label and Lee and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's a great A&R because he's more than just saying this track's good. Like he helps really facilitate that process, which again is another thing where I think like Hood Politics is a good label because it's like you don't just get a yes maybe 3 months later, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's coming out. Like you send it to them, either they'll give you feedback, they'll tell you what they like, what they don't like, is this a fit? Like they'll actually respond to you, right? And that's like that means a lot as an artist.
Bibby does that too, weirdly. Bibby, really? Bibby will send me like paragraphs of feedback, like on tracks. Yeah. He's good like that. He's the only other guy. Actually, I think he's the only other guy that like will give me like just unsolicited feedback that's amazing. It's like, yeah. Granted, it doesn't mean it's signed to Solid Grooves or Isolate, but like the tracks get better and get signed by somebody, But
that's
like,
right. I mean,
he's willing to spend some time on sending feedback.
That's special. And I mean, this must have been, so you released on Repopulate May 2019 on this insane compilation with like Martin Ikin, G Felix, Dead Space, John Summit. I mean, I have to assume this is a massive bucket list moment for you, right?
Oh, that's pretty crazy. Lubelski's on that one too.
Yeah, and Stay Filthy, man. Like with itsbilly, like
Yeah.
your homie.
All right, let's check this one out. This one's called Stay Filthy by itsbilly and Monoky via Repopulate Mars.
Like
Yeah.
I just kind of like making it to that moment in your discography. I was like, this was
Yeah.
must have been like, let's fucking
Yeah,
go.
so that was so crazy because like that track, was that the track? That track was played. Jamie Jones played it at Space. I think that's the one. Or Thinking About You was the one, but wait, I changed the name of it. There was one track that I was like, this is before I was like doing anything with Space. Like this is before like locked. This is 2019. I remember being at Space, and I think it was Stay Filthy.
How
I don't know.
crazy was that for you, man?
And I was downstairs eating pizza, and I heard like the first like couple seconds of the track, and I was talking to one of the owners, and I was like, "Fuck, this is my track. This is my track. I got it."
Took off.
And I remember running upstairs, and I tried to take a video of it, but I was just too fucking excited because like Space is like my mecca. Like Jamie Jones is like fucking legendary, and like the place was like beyond crowded. It was Art Basel, so it was like the biggest party. It was Paradise, Art Basel, Jamie Jones on the terrace, and he played my track. And I literally just remember like getting like half a video and then just like absolutely just fucking breaking down, just being like,
Wow.
yeah, like just I just went and sat in a corner and like fucking broke down and was just like, that was like, you know, like I'm really doing it. You know, it was like such like it was such like just a moment in time that was like, you know, like it's really happening. You know, it's all coming. All this hard work has paid off because like this is happening right now. You know, I've had that happen a couple times. Like either people playing my tracks or like me playing my tracks or just me playing tracks to like massive crowds. And it's just like this weird self-reflection that happens. That's like over. Yeah, it's like overwhelming though. And it's like, you know, it's like all this hard work is paying off. And it's like, it's tough to, there's a couple things. One, it's like you have to recognize the wins when you get the wins, but you can't sit in them. You can't just, you got to keep pushing on, you know, like you can't just let that win be like, that's it. You made it, you know, because you haven't really done shit yet.
Yeah.
But like you gotta count those wins and you gotta like let them soak in and like feel good about it. And like the other side of that is like the down lows, the low stuff, you know, like the stuff where it's like you get turned down for a track that you think is awesome that should go to a label, but it doesn't, you know, and or like you play a party that's empty and it's like, I'm just a bummer, you know, like it rains and it's like fucking, you know, it's just a bummer. Like you can't let that get to you either. So it's like, you know, it's just, you got to ride the waves of like the ups and the downs and like not let the highs get too highs, but like make sure you soak them in, because like you only get a first time for something like that, you know, like somebody playing your track like in front of, you know, 1,000 people, like during a massive party, you know, like by one of the top 5 DJs in the scene. And it's like, if you don't learn to like enjoy that, then like you won't find enjoyment out of anything in this industry, you know. It's like
Real advice, man.
nothing will ever be good enough for you, you know.
Yeah, that's so true. I think that's kind of the harsh reality of like just pacing yourself, not only in music industry, but just in life, dude. You know,
Right.
like I try to remember where I saw this, but in our generation, especially in America, it's like, I want this now or by tomorrow. When things are so much more fulfilling when you put the work in over time. I don't have any kids, but I imagine like seeing your kid grow up and be successful. Like you probably have a lot of fucking ups and downs over that life, right? We're raising a career in the music industry. I think this makes sense right now, right? But at the end of it all, you're like, I enjoyed that journey, as cliche as it is. You know, even if you're going like this, just a little bit, as long as even if you plateau, just don't stop, because you're still moving forward.
That's it. That's like that's the part that's confusing, is like you don't know if you're going this way. Like
that's
like
so true.
It kind of just feels like you're going this way, and then you'll be like, oh, that was really cool, and then like literally the next week, like you know, it's you're opening your bottom build on something, and you're like, excuse me, you're like, what's that? Like, I just played in front of 5,000 people, like, you know, like, I don't know. It's funny because like the other thing that you kind of have to learn, that took me a long time to learn, is nobody really cares if you succeed.
That's a brutal
nobody gives a fuck if he succeeds. So like, I mean, I'm sure there's people rooting for you, and I'm like, your friends are rooting for you and shit like that.
Yeah.
In the industry, like, I'm sure there's some people rooting for you here and there, but like nobody, like, people are concerned about themselves, you know, like people worry about where their own shit is going, and like nobody really gives a shit if you succeed or not. So you have to keep your own engine going, you know. You can be pushed by people, you can find inspiration from people, but like deep down, that drive and that energy and stuff has to come from within, you know. It's like, because if it doesn't, like, you'll talk yourself out of it. You'll wither away. You'll get lost in the shuffle, you know. It's like, and along that same lines, and it takes a long time to figure out, is that what everybody else is doing doesn't matter. At all. It doesn't matter. It's like, if somebody's candle is burning brighter next to you, you don't gain anything by putting that light out, you know, or like talking shit about that light. Like, it's like you just need to keep working on your own fire within, you know. It's not like you're not being overshadowed by that guy next to you. Nobody's comparing you to that person that's blowing up.
Only
like,
you're comparing yourself.
Oh, you're the only one. Yeah. And you're the only one that looks like shit by like talking shit about somebody like getting gigs, or like, you know, or like music doing well and stuff like that. Like, that doesn't matter. It's all like internal. Like, if you know, it never helps you to talk shit about other people in this industry. Like, there's some bad people, there's some shitty people. Like, there's a lot of people who don't give a fuck about the music. It's all about money. Like, there's a lot of people who don't give a shit about the music. They just want to look cool, or like want to try to hook up with girls, and like, you know, like, that's not my scene. Like, I'm all about the music, you know?
It's and you found those people though. You found the people who are all about the music.
Yeah, but it took a long time, you know, like it's weird that like it takes a long time to figure out that like you can surround yourself with people that are just about the music. Like, you don't have to hang out with the assholes. You can choose to not be with the naysayers and the negative people. Like, you know, like you can surround yourself. I mean, what the whole thing says is you're most like the 5 people you hang out with the most. And it's like, you know, it's true. And it's like, you can surround yourselves with people that make you better and like give you confidence in this industry. And like, it's that the naysayers, you can learn how to like shut that off and just kind of push that aside, you know. And like, ever since I like made the like conscious decision to like surround myself with people who are like about the music and like want to like connect with other people and grow and make new friends and be happy. And it's like, that stuff all matters down the line. Like, especially in this industry, like, you may think it doesn't, but that's when people start to notice, you know. Is like when they realize that, like, you know, like, I'm at space 12 hours listening to music. On my own, like on a weekend off, I'm there from 11 p.m. till noon, you know, like, like, I'm not doing it for any other reason than, well, I am Shazamming and stealing songs. I'm auto Shazamming and stealing songs for sure.
But that's the real truth of that all is, I mean, you're probably in the lower percentile of people, you know. Like, I do this for the love, man. It comes up almost every episode. If it was only me and you that listen to this episode, I would be just as happy as if
right.
Fulfilling for me, getting to know people who are passionate about what they do in the music industry. Like, I really do love this, you know?
I'm
not doing it to get gigs. I'm not doing it to get followers. I'm doing it because I love your music and I wanted to meet you and I wanted to chat. And that's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, like, I've been doing this shit for over 5 years now. I could have stopped a long time ago, but I'm never going to stop because it's fun as hell.
Yeah. And that's the other thing I've noticed, like, with gaining a little bit of momentum is people kind of taken aback when, like, after a show or like even like before, like just meeting me in general, like, and people are like, oh, you're just like a dude. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just like a guy. Like, they're like, can you want to like talk and take a picture with me? I'm like, fuck yeah, you came to like some random show in like the middle of nowhere to come and see me. Like, I'll hang out, I'll chat. Like,
you want a Heineken Zero? I got you.
Yeah, we got a bunch of Heineken Zeros back here. You know? Yeah, I'll put a bottle of tequila on my rider for you. I'm not gonna drink it, but you can have it. Yeah, but same kind of shit. It's like, you know, there's you gotta stay humble and just kind of be you. You know, like, I haven't gotten anywhere yet. It's just starting, but like, I feel like a lot of good things are coming, you know.
I appreciate you sharing all that, man. It means a lot.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people in the music industry that are getting into it, it's intimidating, but you know, it's a long road, but it doesn't have to be so tough. You just got to find the people who are in it for the same reasons as you and keep them close.
Right. Right, exactly. And just keep at it. I mean, I sent out, I've probably sent out, I don't know, 500 demos, like, and then 500 demos, but like some of the demos I've sent to 25 different labels. I've sent out like there was one point where my emails were just like demo for like every outgoing message was just a demo, like sets of 5, and like it just took one before then like things started catching on, and like some people are like, why release on all these different labels? And it's because like I enjoy kind of interacting with these different labels. I like to see like what they do with the music. I'm interested in connecting with all these people from these different labels, and like when you release on a label, like you're connected with those people, like
Yeah.
like the fact that NONSTOP record with Simon Kidzoo just is number 3 in Netherlands on Apple Music right now. Like that came out like a year and a half ago or something, and like Peru, it's a NONSTOP is Perupa's label, and I posted that the other day, and Perupa and Simon Kidzoo and NONSTOP, and like there's a connection there, and it's like it's fun and meaningful,
Yeah, it just goes to show like it really is a global thing here, and it has no language, so it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. It's good
True.
music that we all want to share together.
Facts, right
Facts.
there.
Okay, we got a little off topic, but I sure am glad we did. I want to ask you, we got to keep it going on the Chicago topic here. Relief, you mentioned Green Velvet earlier. I got to ask you about this track, The Realness, with Itsbilly, because it's a super fucking dope track, but it has a quicker pace than what you guys had originally been releasing.
Now, you might have recognized this in the intro, but I want to play it loud for you. This one's called The Realness by Itsbilly and Monoky off Relief Records.
The realness, I got you stuck off the realness.
This one come together? I mean, I know you said you don't produce with the label in mind, but it found the right home with Relief. But I want to hear the story.
Yeah. Oh man, the real dude. I haven't played that track in forever.
You gotta whip that one back in the arsenal because it's fire.
Yeah, yeah,
I love it.
And that one went out on Relief. That Relief record had some huge dudes on it too.
Yeah.
Dante Saunderson and King Saidi were on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a big record actually. Billy brought that sample to me and was like, "What should we do with this?" And that track literally, I think that came together in like 2 hours.
One of those.
Yeah, and we were just like, "Yo, this is dope! Like, this is just dope! Like, I don't know where to send this because it's like it's a different sounding track." And I knew Curtis from Chicago, and I was like, well, we could try like Relief, like randomly, but I think we sent him 4 tracks, and that was the 4th track, like the least likely we thought would get signed by him. And he came back and was like, yeah, we want this for this VA. And we're like, all right, let's do it. But Yeah, and then that VA, there's some other big people on that VA. I forget who though. Yeah, but that I mean, just Relief, putting stuff out with Relief is like,
Huge.
was one of the major like check marks that I'll always remember,
Yeah. It's such a great track, man. And like you said, like Velvet in the Chicago world and let alone on a global scene.
Yeah.
It's cool to see a Midwest guy releasing on labels like that. It makes that shit seem tangible to a guy like me, that still has such a long road in front of me and wants to continue getting better at production and has goals to release on labels like Relief. And just to hear you kind of just say, I mean, dude, it didn't happen overnight. Like,
yeah, right.
Did not happen overnight to produce that level, to have the relationship with him, to have that familiarity of what would fit. Like, you weren't wasting your time. Like, you knew this is for you.
No, but that's a weird thing. That's actually an important thing to ask, is that sending to these labels, it's like,
yeah,
you don't always know what the labels want. So sometimes like I'll send 3 tracks and it'll be the 3rd track that people will like, like that excuse me, that happened with South of Saturn on one of them. That happened on something else. But it's like, it's sometimes it's a little bit different than the ones that you thought would be signed that get picked up,
right.
Yeah, so it's I mean, without like, gosh, without like inundating these people's inboxes with tons of tracks, just like, you got to be around the right genre, but like, if you think something's close, like you could probably add it in, like, as long as the other ones sound kind of similar, or like are label appropriate.
Right.
But like a lot of these labels, like, I would send 2 or 3 tracks. I wouldn't just send 1 track, just because you never know, you never know what kind of day it's going to be for them that they think it would fit for something,
Yeah, and you never, like, if you try and replicate a track exactly, it's most of the time not going to get signed because they're always looking for the next thing. And you just said these labels are backed up. So it's always better to put your own originality on it, no matter what.
Never does. Do you know how many tracks I made with that saw drop from like losing it? Because I was like, oh.
Right?
And now I can't stand those. But I was like,
I can't stand it either now.
Yeah, I'm like, I think it needs a big saw drop right there.
Dude, I remember Latman dropped Def, which I think it was Masquerade or something, Clapton's label. And I remember it was like the first time I had heard that, and I was like, "This is it, dude. We can get people in the house if we get them a little energy." And then it was like, then Losing It came, and then like the Coachella crowd, was like, "This is crazy." And now I'm like, if I hear another fucking Saw on the drop again, dude, like, let the song play. Like, I don't even like when the CO2 hits at the drop. I'm like, I can't hear the music.
Yeah. Shit.
Listen to me. I sound like a fucking house elitist, bro. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. We both are now.
After we're talking about love and enjoying the music no matter what. I do have an opinion on music.
Right.
We're allowed to have an opinion on music.
Yo, I gotta run soon.
Yeah. I literally have one more question for you, actually.
Okay.
And it's, what do you have coming up that you can tell us?
Dude, I got a bunch of stuff coming up. I'm with Prids Thursday at Space, and I'm at 3 Points Festival in Miami on Friday. Then I have a release coming on next week, 2 weeks on Materialism. I will release the week after that on El Ro. I have a release like in November, late November, on Happy Techno Music.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And then the next weekend I have Hocus Pocus here, and I'm playing with all the techno people, with like Adam Bayer and Charlotte DeWitt, and like I have a good slot for Hocus Pocus Festival here.
Sick.
And then the next weekend I'm with Walker and Royce at Space. And and then I leave 8 a.m. to play Del Mar racetrack in California, and then I'm in Hermosa the next day. It's like we got a lot coming up that should be pretty bonkers. And then Art Basil's going to be happening. I know it's like the next like month is just nasty. So
Dude, thank God.
I literally, when I was saying I gotta check out soon, it's because I gotta prepare the set for Eric Prydz. I literally I gotta go. I weirdly I can't organize music during the day.
Okay.
I don't know, like for sets, like it doesn't. My mind's not in the right mindset to organize music for sets.
You're like, should be doing something else. I understand.
Yeah, so I have to like it's gotta be nighttime and I gotta be like in the zone, and then I can like kind of organize a set, and I'll put 100 tracks in a set like as like possible tracks to play, you know, and like on my stick. Yeah, and then kind of just I don't plan anything out. I just have like kind of like I'm a massive music hoarder, so it's like
no fucking way. You can't plan out a 3-hour set, and you can't plan out playing at a techno festival and then opening and then Walker and Royce sets. You gotta just go.
No. Yeah, I probably have like 20 hours of music I need to plan. So like
run playlists. Like do you like create a playlist and then you run?
Yeah, so I'll have like Thursday Eric Prydz, Friday 3 Points, and each one will have 100 to 150 tracks in it.
And then you'll bounce back to those on future gigs.
So like if it's like so let's say next week I'm playing with like I don't know, fuck who, like Dead Mouse or something like that, I'd go back to like an Eric Prydz set, you know, like or like if I play with like Martinez Brothers, I'll go back to like Marco Carolla set or something like that. You know, it's like I know where my mind was at when I was making those playlists, and like who would fit with who, and so it like you can always bounce back to them, but like then I'll also have like by date, like so I literally I download like 300 tracks a week.
Fuck, dude.
I'm out of control. It's not healthy.
That's not normal, but I love it.
I download like easily 300, 150 to 300 tracks a week, and like I'll go through them and like organize them. So like let's say I played with like Blondish last week. Like there was a lot of like tribal and like Afro-y and stuff like that.
Right.
And now with Prydz, like there's not a single track from that playlist that I would play. You know, it's like I'm gonna play like semi progressive, you know, like semi techno-y, you know, like it's gonna be a completely different set, you know.
Oh man, so exciting! Congrats to you. Enjoy that, brother.
Yeah, thank you, dude. Appreciate that.
Crush it this weekend from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for taking the time. I knew you're a busy guy, and now I know you're a really fucking busy guy.
Yeah.
But I respect that, man. I respect that, and you know, we're all just trying to make it out here, and it was a pleasure connecting with you. And I definitely want to meet you in person as soon as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Come down to Miami and hang out with me. Come to a space show or something.
I need to. I know you're gonna kill me. I went to Miami for a bachelor party 2 months ago. No house heads in the group, unfortunately. And I was like, am I gonna go to space by myself?
You should have gone to space by yourself.
I should have, dude. I literally for 15 minutes was like standing by myself, and I was like, I could do it. This would be the moment. And
yeah.
Next time, but I want to come enjoy it with the people that I know I want to be there with. So I'll let you know, okay?
You don't know how many times I've gone to space for myself.
I need to get like Monoky, baby.
Yeah, right.
Hell yeah,
brother. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, man.
Of course, man. Chicago loves you. You already know that.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Thank you.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon. Hey, what's up? And thanks for watching that video. You looking for more content now? I got your back. Go to my YouTube channel right now, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you turn on all notifications so you never miss any upcoming exclusive artist interviews, Sherman the Booth clips, new music, live sets, and more. This is your one-stop shop for everything electronic music. Cheers.